Apologies for the technical hiccups at the beginning. Maybe that's a bit better. Better. Excellent. Okay, so the next one, my friend Phil and I, when we were teenagers, were very, very keen on a guy called Tom Paxton, who's still around, and he wrote some wonderful songs. And this next one is very much his one. We were so keen. He and I used to go playing around the folk clubs in southwest London, mostly at colleges. In fact, mostly at teacher training colleges for reasons that I'll leave to your own imagination. But this one particularly is appropriate for our theme of travel. So let's see how this one goes. It's a long, dusty road, it's a hard and a heavy load, and the folks that I meet ain't always kind. Some are bad and some are good, some have done the best they could, some have tried to ease my trouble and mine. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. I've wandered through this land, just doing the best I can, trying to find what I was meant to do. And the people that I see look as worried as can be, and it looks like they are a-wondering too. So I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. I had a little girl one time, she had lips like sherry wine, and she loved me till my head went plumb insane. I was too blind to see she was drifting away from me, and my good girl went off on the morning train. Now I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. So you see me passing by, and you stop and you wonder why, and you wish that you were a rambler too. Nail your shoes to the kitchen floor, lace them up and bar the door. Thank your stars for the roof that's over you. 'Cause I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. No, I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. Tom Paxton, great guy. Still around, still selling some great songs. It's interesting, my earliest travel experience probably was when, as a 7-year-old boy in 1960 or there, yeah, it was 1960, I was dispatched on the train from Paddington on my own, or actually in charge of the guard, to go and stay with my grandparents down in the West Country. And it was in those days when you could put a 7-year-old boy on the train in the charge of the guard, and there's a pretty good expectation he'd get there safe and sound. And my grandfather met me at Paynton, and we had a lovely time together. I'll never forget that little time. So this next one, I want to read a little poem actually. This is a poem by Thomas Hardy, which is very much reflecting on that experience. So I hope you'll enjoy this. It's called Midnight on the Great Western. And the tempo of it, or the what do you call it, the meter of this poem kind of reflects the rattling of the rails. So I hope I'll do it justice. Midnight on the Great Western by Thomas Hardy. In the third class sat the journeying boy, and the roof lamp's oily flame played down on his listless form and face, berapt past knowing to what he was going, or whence he came. In the band of his hat the journeying boy had a ticket stuck and a string. Around his neck bore the key of his box, that twinkled gleams the light sad beams like a living thing. What past can be yours, O journeying boy, towards a world unknown, who calmly, as if incurious quite, on all at stake can undertake this plunge alone? Knows your soul a sphere, O journeying boy, our rude realms far above, whence with spacious vision you mark and meet that region of sin that you find you in, but of are not of. Kind of remember that trip very well. And I thought we'd stay with trains for a bit. Excuse me. Let's just see who's been chatting. Oh, good, you can hear me now. That's good news. I like that. Excellent. We have 10 people with us, I think. So we've got Sarah, James and Julia, and Peter. Peter, hi Peter. Great to see you. Thank you for coming. Much appreciated. So we're going to stay with trains, but we're going to cross the Atlantic. Kind of risky thing to do today, but we're going to go, and Arlo Guthrie is my next challenge, and see how we're doing for the time as well while we're at it. Ooh, we're way ahead of schedule actually. But so we'll slow down a bit. But this next song is by Arlo Guthrie. Arlo Guthrie was again another hero of mine in the 70s, early 70s. Most well known for his thing Alice's Restaurant, which I recommend anybody, if you haven't seen Alice's Restaurant, go and have a look at it. It's brilliant. Okay, here we go. This is called The City of New Orleans. Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central Monday morning rail. 15 cars and 15 restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks and mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out of Kankakee, rolls along past houses, farms and fields, passing trains that have no names, freight yards full of old black men, and the graveyards of the rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are you? Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans, and I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Dealing card games with the old man in the club car, penny a point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass the paper bag that holds the bottle, feel the wheels a rumbling beneath the floor. And the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers ride their father's magic carpets made of steel. Mothers with their babes asleep, rocking to the gentle beat, and the rhythm of the rails is all they feel. So good morning, America, how are you? Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans, and I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Nighttime on the city of New Orleans, changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home, we'll be there by morning. Through the Mississippi darkness, rolling down to the sea. All the towns and people seem to fade into a bad dream, and the steel rail still ain't heard the news. The conductor sings his songs again, the passengers will please refrain. This train got the disappearing railroad blues. Good night, America, how are you? Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. The train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. So, Arlo Guthrie tells a story about this song, actually. It's quite interesting because he'd been doing a show, and he was exhausted at the end of the night and wanted to go home, and he got accosted on his way out of the theatre by this guy who says, "Arlo, I've got a song for you." And Arlo goes, "Oh, so I don't want to hear it, not interested." He said, "Look, I'll buy you a drink if you just listen to my song." So Arlo said, "Okay, well, I'll have a drink with you. You can play your song to me, and if I like it, I'll have it. If not, no. Just as long as you can finish it by the end of the drink." So the guy's name's Steve Goodman. He was the guy who wrote the City of New Orleans. It's a wonderful song. It really pays tribute to the sort of disappearing railroad landscape of the US. Go and come back now to this side of the Atlantic and do something from Ireland. Not all of our travel is voluntary. So I thought I'd do this one in honour of those who travelled involuntarily. And I've talked about this with Eileen, and it's very relevant to her story and her family story. So it also has a relationship to our theme of travel and of mental health as well. So this one is a traditional Irish song called the Black Velvet Band, sung by the Dubliners very loudly and very raucously in very many pubs all across Belfast and Dublin and other good places. I'm going to do it a little bit more gently than that, so I hope you'll enjoy this version of it. I'm going to put a cap on this. I think we'll just pick it up a little bit. In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice to trade I was bound, and many's the hour sweet happiness that I spent in that neat little town, till sad misfortune came over me, which caused me to stray from the land, far away from my friends and relations, betrayed by the Black Velvet Band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll with this pretty fair maid, and a gentleman passing us by. I knew she meant to be doing for him by the look in her roguish black eye. A watch she took from his pocket and placed it right into my hand, and the very next thing that I said to her was bad luck to the Black Velvet Band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, and I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Now before a judge and a jury, next morning I had to appear, and the judge, she said to me, young man, your case it is proven clear. We'll give you 7 years penal servitude to be spent far away from the land, far away from your friends and relations, betrayed by the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, and I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Come all you jolly young fellows, and a warning take by me. For when you are out on the town, my lads, beware of the pretty colleens. For they'll feed you with strong drink, me boys, until you're not able to stand. And the very next thing that you'll know, my lads, is you landed in Van Diemen's Land. And her eyes, they shone like diamonds, and I thought of the queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, and I thought of the queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Oh, that's we've had a lot of fun with that song in various bars and pubs over the years. Let's see who's on the. Let's see who's on here. Ah, the Oxleys. Hi Mel. Hi Mark. Good to see you, Mark. You should be over here doing this with me. That'd be a treat.
Next week.
Next week, actually, yeah, next Wednesday. Why don't you come over here and we'll do it together? That'd be fun. Okay, so where are we now? Yeah, I wanted to just, before we did anything else, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the charity Mind. It's not well known, but 1 in 4 people experience some sort of mental health challenges during a year. And awfully, horribly, 1 in 15 attempt suicide at some point during their lifetime. That's on here. It's a horrible challenge. Suicide is the biggest killer of men under 50 and all people under 40. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And those of us who've had personal experience of that know how devastating it is to their families and their friends and relatives all around. It leaves a scar, leaves a mark on families. So the Mind charity is working very, very hard to help address that issue with lots of different initiatives. I'd like you to go and have a look at their website. Some of the stuff they're doing is amazing. They are involved at the moment. The reason I'm doing this month is they set out a challenge to stream for 4 hours or 15 hours. And 15 hours is really aimed at the gamers of this world who spend that sort of time online. But I thought I'd pick up this challenge and see what we could do with it. And my next song is it's Mind song. This is one of mine. I feel very strongly about this song. It was one I wrote a long time ago now, but it's a favourite. Hi Michelle, good to see you. Thank you very much. Owen, good to see you too. So this one, some of you will have heard me sing this before. I actually got a real treat earlier on this year when Eileen treated me to a bucket list trip to the States, and we went to Nashville and to Memphis and to Atlanta. And Nashville, of course, is the home of country music. But it's not just country music in Nashville. It's all sorts of music. It's an amazing city. The music just comes out of the pavement at you. It's incredible. Now, Memphis is the same. Nashville's particularly special though because it's full of people writing stuff. And there's one particular place, and I said if I go to Nashville, I'd love to do an open mic in Nashville. And there's one particular venue in Nashville which is absolutely iconic. It's called the Bluebird Cafe, and I was extremely lucky to be able to get a slot to do this song at the open mic at the Bluebird Cafe. So I hope you enjoy it. It's called Hollow Tree. There's a man in a hollow tree. He's been there a long, long time. Strange things that he looks like me. His answers don't rhyme. And he looks out of time. Hiding in his hollow tree, just rising with the waterline, just another wannabe, way off the center line, terminal decline. Come on, step up to the line. Come on, step out to your rhyme. Come on and sing us all your line. Today's gonna be just fine. Climb out of your hollow tree. Go riding for the borderline. Head out to the open sea. It's time for you to drink your wine and discover your divine. Come on and step up to the line. Come on now and step out to your rhyme. Come on now and sing us all your line. Today's gonna be just fine. If you're hiding in a hollow tree, just rising with the waterline, don't be another wannabe. Ride out for the borderline and discover your divine. Come on and step up to the line. Come on and step out to your rhyme. Come on and sing us all your line. Today's gonna be just fine. Today's gonna be just fine. Today's gonna be just fine. Thank you. That's it's a favourite one of mine because I wrote it, I suppose. But even so, it's kind of special. And it got me a ticket to play at a very special place. Bluebird Cafe is amazing. I mean, the audience there is just spectacular, and they're so cool. Somebody said to me the other day that they mentioned Bob Dylan to a 20-year-old, and they said, "Who's Bob Dylan?" Well, kind of a bit of a shock to me, but I think the good news is everybody's going to know Bob Dylan's name very shortly because there's a film coming out all about his life, which I can't wait for. And so I thought it would be completely inappropriate not to do something of his Bobness's piece of work. So we'll try this with. I can't chew these things. It's great, but they're cool. Let's check this is the right way. This is the right one. Well, this is we're back in England now. Actually, technically, this song that Bob Dylan wrote is a derivative of a very old English folk song, which appears in lots of different fashions. So You'll have heard it as Scarborough Fair, which Simon and Garfunkel made popular. This version is Bob Dylan's version. He learnt it apparently from Martin Carthy in the UK, and Martin Carthy didn't like actually what he'd done with this, but never mind. It's a good song, and it's good stuff. Let's start again. If you're traveling in the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. If you go when the snowflakes storm, when the rivers freeze and summer ends, please see if she has a coat so warm to keep her from the howling winds. See for me if her hair hangs long, if it rolls and it flows all down her dress. Please see for me if her hair hangs long, 'cause that's the way I remember her best. I'm a-wondering she remembers me at all. Many's the times I've often prayed in the darkness of my night, in the brightness of my day. So if you're traveling in the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. She once was a true love of mine. Tribute to his Bobness. Okay, so we're going to stay with American songwriters for the time being, and the next one is also from, well, I mentioned Gordon Lightfoot, who left us recently. The next one is somebody else who left us fairly recently, Chris Christopherson, and again this is a favourite song of mine. And if you've heard me play music before, you've almost certainly heard me play this one. A bit more of travel stuff. Me and Bobby McGee. Busted flat in Baton Rouge, heading for the train, feeling nearly faded as my jeans. Bobby thumbed the diesel down just before it rained. took us all the way to New Orleans. I took my harpoon out of my dirty red bandana. I was blowing sad while Bobby sang the blues, with them windshield wipers slapping time and Bobby clapping hands. We finally sung out every song that driver knew. Freedom, just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California sun, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Standing right beside me, Lord, through everything I'd done. Every night she kept me from the cold. Then somewhere near Salinas, Lord, I let her slip away, searching for the home I hope she'll find, where I'd give all my tomorrows for a single yesterday, holding Bobby's body close to mine. Freedom, just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby McGee. Da 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 da. Da da da, me and Bobby McGee. Da 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 da. Da da da, me and Bobby McGee. Freedom, just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. Yeah, I've got an audience in the room here with me, just in case you hadn't realised, which is very nice. Okay, so we had enough of the land-based stuff. Let's go to sea, shall we? Most of you know that sailing is my other passion. So let's start with another poem, shall we? This is a classic sea poem, which many of you will know. It's John Masefield's Sea Fever. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied, and all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. Ooh, I can feel the salt air now. Great. I'd love that. So we're going to stay afloat now. I've got a couple of sailing type songs. We're going to start with another one by the Dubliners, or actually it's a traditional song again, but the Dubliners sing it very well. Very well known version by the Dubliners. And this has been another one that Dubliners tend to sing songs from that look very good in pubs, so let's do this one. You can join in with me if you've got the chance. Farewell to the Princess landing stage, River Mersey, fare thee well. I am bound for California, it's a place that I know right well. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of a Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Well, I am off to California by way of stormy Cape Horn, and I will send you a letter, love, when I am homeward bound. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Well, I have shipped on a Yankee sailing ship, Davy Crockett is her name, and Burgess is the captain of her, and they say that she's afloat in shame. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of a Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. I have sailed with Burgess once before, and I think I know him well. If a man's a sailor then he'll get along, and if not then he's sure in hell. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Yeah, lots of fun in that one. It's funny, the Dubliners are known for singing these wonderful Irish songs. I desperately try not to put on a fake Irish accent when I'm singing them. It's really hard actually, because they are so Irish in their sense that it's very difficult not to sort of take the brogue with it as well. I think that's the last one I've got. Oh, no, I have got another Irish song later on, so bear with me, and I'll attempt to keep it English in its sense. Well, of course, that's an Irish song, but it's called Leaving Liverpool, so we'll never mind. Anyway, so and the next one is actually not Irish. It's a classic American sailing song. Again, comes from the most, like more all these songs almost come from the 60s and 70s, for which I give no apology whatsoever. This is the first time I've done one of these streams, and I wanted to try and keep things simple, which meant I wanted to try and do songs that I knew reasonably well, just while I get into the swing of how to do this stuff. It's kind of, when you're doing a stream like this, it's kind of, you have to be your own. You've got to be the artist, you've got to be the producer, you've got to be the technician, you've got to be everything else. Fortunately, I have an able assistant here. Eileen's been extremely helpful and given me some very good feedback, and that's great help. It's like when we're talking about mental health, it's much better when you're not on your own, and you never are on your own. There's always somebody there to help. So you only have to do is reach out, which is something that I struggle with, I know, and I'm sure many others do, but it's so important, so important. Okay, let's do another sailing song. This one's from the Beach Boys. Again, it's a traditional song, but they made it popular. It's called Sloop John B. The sloop John B, my granddaddy and me, around Nassau town we do roam, drinking all night. We got into a fight. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. So now then, you hoist up the John B sail, see how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain from ashore and let me go home. I wanna go home. Oh, I feel so home. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. Well, the first mate, he got drunk, he broke in the captain's trunk. The constable had to come and take him away. Sheriff Johnstone, oh, why don't you leave me alone? Oh, well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. So hoist up the John B sail, see how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain from ashore and let me go home. Let me go home. Oh, I wanna go home. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. And the poor cook, he got the fits, threw away all my grits. And then he took and he ate up all of my corn. Oh, let me go home. Oh, why not let me go home? Well, this is the worst trip I've ever been on. So hoist up the John B sail, see how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain from ashore and let me go home. Oh, let me go home. Oh, I wanna go home. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. So that's where are we? Gosh, we've been doing nearly an hour. Crikey! I didn't realise the time was going past so quickly. It's a sign that things are going okay, I guess. So I'm going to do one more song, and this is really about how, again, travel can take us away from home. And this is a song by Ralph Vachell, and it tells the story. Excuse me, I'll just have a little sip here. And it tells the story that when he was working on a building site, when he was a young man, he was working on a building site in London, and his colleagues on the building site were Irish labourers with him, working with him. And he was concerned about them because they were away from home, and he asked one of them, he said, Michael, how is it? You're a long way from home? And he says, yes. He said, it's a long way from Clare to here. And Ralph Vachell said he was very struck by the way in which he had expressed that, because we would normally say it's a long way from here to Clare, but he was really thinking about his homeland. So this is Ralph Vachell's From Clare to Here. It's one of those songs that was written by an Englishman, but it's been very much adopted by the sort of Irish folk singing community, and I think there are now more covers of this by Irish bands and Irish singers than there are English singers. So let's see how we go with this. And just by the way, I'm not sure how much you want me to say about this. Eileen is reminding me that this is very much a story that she's very familiar with, and I think she may have some more to say about that in the future at some point. Us four share this room, and we work hard for the crack, sleeping late on Sundays. I never get to Mass. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way. It grows further day by day. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. Friday comes around, Terry's only into fighting. My ma would like a letter home, but I'm too tired for the writing. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way, and it grows further by the day. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It almost breaks my heart when I think of Josephine. I told her I'd be coming home with my pockets full of green. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way, and it grows further by the day. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. The only time I feel alright is when I'm into drinking. It sort of eases the pain of it, levels out my thinking. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way, and it grows further by the day. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. Sometimes hear a fiddle play, or maybe it's an ocean. Dream I see white horses dance upon that other ocean. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way, and it grows further by the day. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. So thank you very much for those of you who are still here and those of you who are watching. There's 8 of you still I can see online. It's really lovely. Thank you so much. I'm very gratified by that. I just want to do one last poem for you all, which is a farewell poem, and to say thank you so much for being with me here tonight. I'm here again next Wednesday at the same time as part of this Streamformind. So my farewell to you is the Irish prayer for travellers. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you so much, everybody. Night. Bye, folks.